we often overlook the strategy. We look at it too simple in the whole industry, not just the founders, but also in the VC and investment world and so on, because it's much more understandable and easier to think of it in the first place. But actually, there's another level that if we take how we look at our product or service, at that level, it also has its own simplicity, but it makes a big difference. And in my opinion, is looking at the behavior change, in the sense that what does our product or service, what does it really change? What's the behavior that it changes? How was it that the potential customer or users were doing it yesterday, and with our product, they're going to be doing it this way today? And what does that change mean? And then every day we look at how every day we look at and we measure everything against, like, is it working? Is that behavior that we intended, is it actually changing? Or is it changing something else that we didn't even anticipate? And how well is it working? What is not working? What do we need to learn? What do we need to improve? What do we need to drop? But that would be at the very core of thinking about what is our value proposition.
All right, so if I want to be better off with my business strategy, I put into my spreadsheet behavior. And then every day I ask a question: what is the behavior I'm searching for in the first place? Who's it changing for? How is it changing? Is it working? How is it working? Is it working differently? What else could we do so that it works better and faster?
We put everything, like our sales strategy, our marketing strategy, product strategy, design strategy, around that at the very core. We always ask everything, every goal we're setting, everything that we're going to be doing, every priority, every features, every activities. First thing, is it actually going to get me to that change that I'm seeking? Is it actually in favor of that, or is it actually against it? Sometimes I see that people put some founders priorities by default, on features on priorities, for example, when we're talking about product, that is actually going against the change that they wanted to build in first place. And they just go with that because that's what is expected. So constantly, like step by step, we validate and check, is it working? Is it working? That's strategy. Strategy is about making choices. And good strategy empowers you to make bold choices. Something that would even scare people, like, whoa, that's like scary. Nobody thinks like that. I'm like, so what? It would allow you to take that because that is your strategy. You're convinced that that's the way to go. That's the choice you have to make.
You can do it today, no matter the stage you're at with your business. You can start asking, what behavior do I want to see change, and am I on the right path?
I can actually give two examples. One about Google, for example, that everybody knows. If you think about Google, what they did back in the early days, if you ask them, like, hey, who's your first paying customer? What's your business model? They didn't have it. That was the reason that when they put the company for sales, nobody bought them, because they said that these guys don't even have a business model. But what they overlooked and they didn't see was actually what Google was changing. Google was changing a behavior that had immense value. To this date, the product is still free. They don't charge you for the sales that you're doing. But that behavior change kind of gave them the opportunity of creating a whole ecosystem of billions of dollars company that we see today. So that's in the high level. And I can share one example of a startup that I work with. And these guys were promoting about fighting against food waste in restaurants, for example. And the way they were trying, and the whole messaging, marketing, sales was going to restaurants, trying to provide their service, saying that this would stop food waste because of inappropriate portion or whatever, all those benefits that they had listed on their website. But what was interesting at the end of the day, when we worked together, we realized that, the behavior that you're actually changing is not the staff in the restaurant, because they don't care. They're still wasting the food. there is this one person that cares. That was this restaurant manager in the other room. And there's kind of a mismatch with putting the solution in front of the staff that doesn't care, and then the other person who actually cares is in the other room. And then once we set up, like really digging out what's the value here, what are we doing? We realized, I just go fast forward, we realized that we're bringing back control to the restaurant owner to be in control of the food waste. So the whole system and the software and the features and everything was for the was for the restaurant manager at the end of the day in their office to be able to see where is the food is being wasted, by whom is it being wasted, so I can go and warn them. I will be in control. So suddenly it wasn't about the food waste anymore. It was about, hey, are you a restaurant owner who wants to be in control of those aspects containing the food waste? Then suddenly that became the message in the marketing. Then suddenly that became the target for the salespeople. Look for the restaurant owners who feel like they're not in control. And the whole product and the features, priorities to kind of give direction in a very nice position in the market. That was what they were doing. So it kind of changed the whole game in for a small startup.